to another edition of the Black Hour of Power with Dr. Stan Harris, known as Dr. Breakthrough. And always give a disclaimer, I can't provide a breakthrough. I just prescribe the breakthrough. But when people follow the breakthrough prescription, God provides it. And the breakthrough is exploding through barriers that at one time seemed insurmountable. So Black Hour of Power stands for bold leaders of authority, courage, and knowledge. And so our speaker today, Dr. Myron Golden, is going to speak about someone who influenced him, someone from history that had a great impact on his life. Of course, Myron's an author. He's a minister. He's an incredible family man. He also has perhaps influenced more people to do business based on biblical principles with integrity for the kingdom of God. As we often say, keep it kingdom. And that's what he's been empowering people to do. And so Myron, teach us about someone, again, in history who had a great impact in not just impact, but also impact your life.
Yeah, 100%. Most recently is the life of none other than President Nelson Mandela. So I had the good fortune of going on a 30-day vacation with my wife for our 40th anniversary. And one of the places we went was South Africa. Now, I'm going to be really transparent. I've heard people say my whole life, yeah, you go to Africa, man, it's different, it's special, it'll change you, blah, blah, blah. And in full transparency, I thought, well, of course, you're just saying that because you think you're supposed to, because you're a black person, so if you go to Africa, it's supposed to change you. Bro, I am telling you, it changed me, especially when I went to Cape Town. And while I was in Cape Town, we took a boat to Robben Island. I was thinking Marshall Island. It's not Marshall Island. Robben Island. We took a boat to Robben Island, to the island where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned as a political prisoner for 18 of his 27 years. I want you to wrap your mind around this. You're in prison for 27 years because you don't agree with the government. And in this prison, he had a cell. I mean, it's not even as big as my master bathroom in my house. It might not be as big as any bathroom in my house. A little mat on the floor, sometimes a blanket, sometimes not a blanket. It gets cold in South Africa. They have windows in the cell, but they have no glass. It's just an opening in the wall. And this man is in this cell for 18 years. Absolutely mind-blowing. Now, you would think that if you're in prison, and you're in prison for 18 years, and the government that put you in prison is in charge, your chances of getting out of prison are slim to none. But guess what Nelson Mandela did while he was in prison? Nelson Mandela, while he was in prison, wrote a book. He created some content. And he somehow smuggled this book out of the prison. And it became a perennial bestseller. I mean, it was like everybody was reading Mandela's book. And from prison, he creates a movement that changes the direction of a nation, the nation that hated him and sought to silence him by imprisoning him. And he wrote a book. And this book started a movement. And the movement dethroned the apartheid government. He did this from prison. I'm like, wait. He was such a brilliant thinker and such a clear communicator that he changed the direction of an entire nation. So, after he gets off Robben Island, he's in another prison for another 9 years. And he finally gets out of prison. And he becomes the president of the country that imprisoned him. And we've all heard the phrase that bitterness does more damage to the vessel in which it's stored than it does the victim on which it's poured. When he got out and he became the president, he did not seek retribution on those who did him wrong. In fact, he did the opposite. He forgave them and befriended them. And one of the guys that was a guard while he was in prison on Robben Island, became one of his closest friends. And Nelson Mandela exemplified what it means to overcome obstacles and to overcome adversity. And yet, I don't know if he was a follower of Christ or not, but he sure exemplified a Christ-like spirit in forgiving the people that imprisoned him. And his story to me is inspirational from the standpoint that it demonstrates and illustrates that no matter who's against you, no matter what opposes you, you can rise from anything and you can overcome any obstacle. And Nelson Mandela did that from prison. So I had the good fortune when I was in Cape Town and to go to Robben Island, but when I was in Johannesburg, I stayed at the hotel. I don't remember the name of it. The hotel, which is the creme de la creme of hotels, and my wife and I stayed in the Nelson Mandela suite while I was there. And just thinking about the impact that this man had on all these people's lives, and you see thousands and thousands of people whose lives are better because a man who was oppressed had a vision not just to eliminate his oppression, but to eliminate the oppression of an entire people. It just goes to show that Jesus was not just right about heaven. He was also right about greatness. And here's what he said. He who will be greatest among you, let him be servant of all. And Nelson Mandela found a way to serve people who were imprisoned as political prisoners. He found a way to serve people who were oppressed by an oppressive government. And he found a way to serve forgiveness to people for whom, from every human perspective, deserved none. Now that is what I call greatness.
Wow. And that's so good. And Myron, one of the things I love about him, he said, it always seems impossible until it's done.
Well,
Right? So he lived that. And you just, again, what you just talked about is that. And I love also what he talked about, the fact about education. He said that education was the most powerful tool with which you can change the world. And that's one of the things that you're
mm,
empowering people with is true education, not stuff here, but education. I always say that education that doesn't increase cognitive thinking, create a change in your heart, movement in your feet, and
well,
in your pocket is wasted or miseducation. And so thank you for doing what Nelson Mandela did, educating people, using, again, the brilliance that God gave him in his brain. And also, the thing I love that you kind of said but didn't say is he had passion, but he lived based on principles, and he put his principles above his feelings. And
100%.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
so
great, bro.
right. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And as you were speaking, man, I had to say this, bro, but I don't know, what is it, 40? But in fact, I just found the picture that I was going to show it, but I didn't want to embarrass you. Of
I don't get embarrassed, bro. You can show it.
yeah, wait,
I don't get
we'll do it
embarrassed
like
about a picture from 40 years ago. Child, please.
45. I think you were 19. I was 20. Anyway, you were my best man. But anyway, and that was it was such a funny
That was a
picture.
long time ago. Yeah.
But I can say this, like, as you mentioned with Nelson Mandela, from that day to this, I've never had an interaction with you with which I walked away feeling more empowered. So thank you for not just being a person who speaks and recognizes and honors others, but being an honorable person yourself that allows God's principles to flow through you.
Well, thank you, bro. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the impact that you had on my life, and it has been great. Thank God.